What is up? What is up? What is up? Thank God it's Friday, right? Oh my God. What a week. Is it Friday? No, I think it's Saturday. I might be tripping. No, it's Friday. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I need a vacation. So, made some videos last night. I don't know what the hell happened to them. Anyways, so here's another channel that I wanted to check out. And let me just say this right off the bat. Mike from that chapter is absolutely one of my favorite content creators. So I was getting some like little mixed messages here and there. Like be nice to Mike. Of course I'm gonna be nice to Mike, man. I mean that dude is like said it 100 times. I would love to have a beer with that guy just to like pick his brain and what got him into this. Cause I mean girls are gonna fall in love with the guy because women love true crime stuff. I seem. I mean, I guess you got you got an even balance there. Like, I know when I first started dating my ex-wife, I was always playing video games. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, don't mean to brag, but the second and third year Madden football, came out on the PS3, and I'm talking about the second year it was out on PS3, and the third year was out on PS3. I was ranked number two in the nation. So if I neglected my girlfriend at the time, which ended up being my wife, yeah, just a little. But this was before Twitch. This was before everything else, where I could have been getting paid, just playing video games. And then by the third year, I started sucking. And then by the fourth, fifth year, yeah, it just all went downhill from there. And I know why. It's because I wasn't on the field practicing, damn it. What the hell? I mean, wasn't in there with my team. I didn't get to hear, the coach's speech. No, I had to start being a more responsible boyfriend and learn the different aisles of Nordstrom's, and I think I knew every single little, how guys, if you ever walked into a Tiffany store, like you already automatically know, like, okay, those are the wedding bands over there. Those are some nice little, baby toys that a baby should have no freaking reason in this world playing with. Now over there are the men's wedding bands that the section is about that big, and then the rest are just gaudy diamonds for women. Oh, look at there's a heart necklace, and oh, look at how pretty the bag is. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm really gonna kill myself. But guys, if your girl ever takes you into Tiffany's, just ask them, hey, do you have a map of each and every box here so I could, know what I'm talking about? Because I was way the hell out of my element. And then whatever happened to those Pandora charm bracelets? Because man, my goodness, I think I memorized every single one of them for some reason. Well, I know why, but anyways, there's another content creator that I like, and I never see him get very much love anywhere else. Oh my God, not already. Okay, so another content creator. Let me put this on vibrate, and I like his stuff. Reason being, not only does he cover true crime, and again, I wanted to quote one of the guys who had, and it's nothing bad to say about Mike from that chapter. Like, I love Mike from that chapter. People are like, oh, don't make fun of him. Don't, do this, don't do that. No, are you kidding me? That's why I wanted to see, other people's thoughts. And boy, did it blow up. It has the most views on one of my channel. Well, has the most views out of any other content creator that I had featured so far. But this guy I like a lot. He does twisted news, strange mysteries. Each story from the last is different radically. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I've been listening to him for a while now. So yeah, let's just jump right into this.
Tales of hauntings, murder, and scary mysteries. Every week, Twisted Twos dives into a pair of uniquely terrifying true stories that are worthy of a more in-depth look. This week, we focus on a murderous and prolific highway killer and a restless poltergeist terrorizing a family in Pennsylvania. Get ready for Scary Mysteries Twisted Twos. Number 1. Patrick Kearney, the Freeway Killer. Being the oldest often means being more responsible and knowing how to be a role model for younger siblings. But in the case of Patrick Kearney, he was far from a model big brother. Born in Los Angeles in 1939, growing up he was a gangly, awkward teen. And as a result, his peers often bullied him. And so Patrick became withdrawn, often fantasizing about killing those that tormented him. After moving around a bit in a brief failed marriage, he moved back to his home state of California, where he finally turned his morbid fantasies into reality.
I want to show you the perfect tool for making stunning videos without leaving the house. Just go to artgrid.io. It's a revolutionary stock footage.
It was the mid-1960s, and one after another, the bodies of 10 men were found ditched along the freeways. All of the males, left naked, and all were shot in the head. Some of the bodies had been cut into pieces and stuffed inside heavy-duty trash bags, and nearly all of them belonged to the local gay community. One victim was 17-year-old John LeMay. Detectives traced the victim's whereabouts prior to his murder and discovered he was last seen with 2 other people. Patrick, who was 37 at the time and now an electronic engineer at Hughes Aircraft Company, and his lover and roommate, 34-year-old David Hill. Patrick had met Hill after returning to California, but despite the relationship, they would often fight, and during these arguments, Patrick would go out on long, solitary drives, picking up hitchhikers or men in gay bars to kill and murder.
Jesus.
His first known victim was a 19-year-old unidentified male in 1962. His MO would be to take the victim to a secluded spot, and while they were distracted or asleep, he would shoot them in the head with a .22 caliber Derringer. Sometimes he would pursue necrophilia and sodomize the dead victims using X-Acto knives. Other times he would bring the body home, drain it of the blood, and proceed to hack it into pieces. After that, he would stuff the body into trash bags and dispose of it along various freeways, landfills, and canyons, and later on in deserts, left to be eaten by the animals. Patrick would sometimes beat up his victims post-mortem to satiate his anger and exercise power over them. It's no surprise that some of his victims even bore a resemblance to his bullies during his childhood. His brutality was extreme and spared no one, as he admitted to killing 5-year-old Ronald Dean Smith and 8-year-old Merle Smith. The latter victim he admitted to abducting and smothering before disposing of the body in a national park. Kearney's behavior went largely unnoticed by those around him. His supervisor at Hughes Aircraft said he was a model worker, while those who knew him simply said he was a loner. A local grocery store owner named Jerry Stevens did notice he often bought butcher knives, examining them in detail and asking about their quality, but other than that, he was a regular guy. Patrick's last victim was actually 17-year-old John LeMay in 1977. John had told a neighbor he was heading out to meet a man named Dave, who was in fact David Hill. LeMay went to his house and was informed by Patrick that he wasn't home at the moment, but that he could wait inside and watch some TV. Strictly out of habit, Patrick, without provocation, shot LeMay in the back of the head and then hacked the corpse into pieces before throwing it into the desert.
That's how you do
When
it.
police dropped by to question Hill and Patrick, they were initially cooperative during the interview, but the moment police left, the two fled to Texas. Both their families pled for them to surrender, and so in July of 1977, they walked into the sheriff's office, pointed to their wanted posters, and casually said, "We're them." David Hill was found to have no involvement in the crimes and was eventually released. Patrick, however, admitted to the murders and even led police to areas where they found additional victims. In all, he was charged with 21 counts of murder. Police believe he was involved in 7 more cases but could not find physical evidence tying him to the victims. Patrick currently remains in the California State Prison, serving 21 life sentences. Number 2. The Smurls Poltergeist.
This is what I was talking about. So, he, strange, scary, and unexplained. A lot of the, even Mike from that chapter did it early on. Somebody had even brought that up. It took him a while to kind of find his little niche. If you look at some of his earliest videos, one thing that he did a story on, and I know a lot of people kind of get intrigued by it, is DIA. Again, for those of you who don't know, I live here in bordering Denver. If I cross the street, it's one county. If I cross the street, it's Denver County. Really, it doesn't. It's just weird. I cross the street, I'm going to be paying more taxes. If I cross this street, I'm going to be paying less taxes, but not by much. Anyways, yes, I had family members, including my mom, who would hire and oversee contracts of, United or whoever else was building their terminals at the time. Also at that time, my oldest brother, who's about 10 years older than me, was an apprentice electrician. So he's 20, I'm 10. And, he used to always say I have to get up on these big ass machines and have to, he was, at the time he was just an apprentice electrician. Now he, owns his own company, master electrician. But he would always brag, have to get way up there and do all the, electrical for the hangars. And, it's really tall. And I'm like, yeah, really not having a concept for how big hangars are. I'm like, yeah. And then he did the lights at Coors Field. He's like, yeah, that's about as tall as the hangars for United Airlines. And I'm like, yeah, fuck that. I'm afraid of heights. I absolutely hate heights. So whenever a girl I meet or something is like, hey, do you like to go skydiving? I'm like, hey, well, it's nice getting to know you. Take care, have a good one, and best of luck. Because if a girl likes to go guy diving, well, then maybe that too. But if a girl likes to go skydiving, more than likely she likes to go climb mountains. And nope. I'll work out closer on the ground. I'm not going to be climbing no 14-footers. One little slip, my big ass is going down. 6'4", 6'5" is not meant to be going up no big ass hill. And I'm athletic enough. The hike that I did was called Hanging Lake here in Colorado. And what it is, it's like it doesn't really protrude, but the water that's collected there, it's not necessarily rainwater, but it's mineral water because it's above regular water temperature, and then when it snows, because it's up in the mountains, it doesn't freeze. So not necessarily a hot spring, because that's where Hanging Lake is right near the hot springs in Colorado. And so it's a part of that thermal pocket, and it's not like boiling hot where if you fell in, you're going to be, with second-degree burns, which, as most people know, second-degree burns are worse than third-degree burns. But, God, there's some risk takers out there, man, I tell you. And like I said, you're going to find me climbing or jumping from any high places anytime soon. But, again, the whole point about it was, Mike from that chapter, if you go look at some of his earliest videos, and as one of the viewers had put it, he was just throwing shit against the wall, seeing, hey, what's going to stick? And he found his niche with, true crime. But he started off with true crime, and was it Captain Conspiracy? Then he'd also wear his tinfoil hat. And then when he started seeing more and more views coming through on his true crime stories, he stuck with it. And at times I do wish he would bring back some of his early attempts, because they're funny as hell. But yeah, DIA was a little weird. Like I said, my brother may have worked on the United Air hangars, but my mom was up and down those concourses, and yeah, they had the Freemasons little plaque there. That mural is just fucked up beyond belief, with the guy in a gas mask, essentially just stabbing through a dove, and all these kids in the background look at him like, oh, what the hell? The big old freaking blue horse with red eyes out front makes absolutely zero sense to anyone who's native to Colorado. And as most people know, that blue horse ended up killing its sculptor when it fell. So why would you put that up there? Now, one thing I could tell you for certain, there's no underground. There's nothing going on underground. And the reason why it was so over budget was because they were trying to leap ahead of time as far as any other airport was ever conceived, with this automatic baggage system. And you could still see the remnants if you go, kind of behind the scenes. It was all supposed to be automated. They have the technology to do it now because, airports in Dubai and, the one in Japan, they all do it now. But back in 1990, while DIA was being built, it was ahead of its time, and it just didn't work. And they continued to pump money, and more money into it. And then once they lost all this money, it was like, oh well, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. So yeah, huge waste of money. But it's still a nice airport. It's beautifully well kept. And it's pretty cool. Traveling down to the different concourses underground rather than, some trolley or something. It's a unique airport nonetheless. So let me get back to this. As you know, he just covered a case of some sick-ass dudes. And now he's going on to the Smurls Poltergeist. So let's see what this one's about.
Originally from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, Jack and Janet Smurl had to move out and relocate to a new house after Hurricane Agnes devastated their home in 1972. Jack's parents, John and Mary, recently bought a new home in West Pittston. It was a duplex, and the arrangement was for John and Mary to live on the right half, while Jack, Janet, and their 4 daughters, Dawn, Heather, and later on twins Shannon and Karen, would stay in the left half. The home was a bit of a fixer-upper, so the family spent time remodeling it, and for the first 18 months everything seemed quiet. But then in January of 1974, the Smurls began noticing odd things in the home. Previously fixed water pipes would keep leaking even though a plumber had fixed them, and an unusual stain appeared on a new carpet seemingly without any cause. Toilets would flush at random even without anyone using them. And one evening, the television set burst into flames. Additionally, the family found scratches on the bathtub sink and woodwork, as if some sort of animal had gouged it. Soon, apparitions began to manifest, and the eldest daughter, Dawn, saw people floating around her bedroom. Empty rocking chairs would start swaying, footsteps could be heard all throughout the house, and foul smells would begin to permeate. Despite all this, the Smurls felt leaving would be a defeat, and so they continued to live in the home for several years. In February of 1985, Janet was in the basement doing laundry when she heard her name being called. She looked around the house to see who it was, but she was alone. At another time, while in her kitchen, a faceless man appeared to her. The room went cold, and the strange apparition walked right through the wall, then appearing in front of Mary, who was on the other side of the house. Neighbors reported hearing screaming and unusual noises
Oh, that's a
coming
cool
from
picture.
the property, even when they knew no one was there. Eventually, these situations escalated and became physically harmful. A large fan fell from the ceiling, nearly killing Shannon one afternoon. Janet would experience being pulled from the bed, and Jack would wake up paralyzed and gagging from a vile odor. Their dog, Simon, would also be repeatedly lifted up by unseen hands and thrown across the room. Feeling defeated by the attacks, the Smurls sought help of demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren in 1986. The Warrens questioned the family and determined it was possible the spirits or entities were dormant within the home and were awakened as a result of the emotional energy generated by the daughters going through puberty. They identified 4 spirits, 3 of which were human, and 1 was a demon. Attempting to provoke the demon to come out, the Warrens played religious music and chanted prayers. After this, the attacks on the family became more sinister. Jack was molested several times by a succubus, and Janet, as well as Mary, would find unusual scratch and bite marks on their bodies. Dawn was almost killed by a terrible disease, and the demon, it seems, would haunt the family even when outside the home. With nowhere else to turn, they asked the press for help in hopes of finding somebody with answers. Although they initially refused to show their identity, they eventually were uncovered. The Smurls again asked for the help of another medium who corroborated the Warrens and their findings. Mary Alice Rinkman identified 4 spirits in the home, including that of an elderly woman named Abigail and a dark man with a mustache named Patrick, who had killed his wife and lover and later on was hung by the mob. Famous exorcist Bishop McKenna performed a 3rd exorcism in the home, and various prayer groups were spotted in the house. The hauntings did stop for about 3 months, but right before Christmas in 1986, Jack spotted a black figure beckoning him. That was the final straw, and unable to fight for their home any longer, the Smurls moved out of the house and into a new town.
Screw that.
The subsequent owners reported that they never experienced anything strange or supernatural
It was
inside.
attached to the family.
The phenomena reportedly followed the Smurls family to their new residence. However, they shied away from the media, and so there's little information on that. So there were a pair of some of the most mysterious and sinister true stories around. The world can be a crazy place, and Twisted Twos is sure to show you why. If you enjoyed this video, then please remember to subscribe to our channel. We have several new scary mysteries coming out every single week that we're sure you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.
I'll go ahead and leave the link to their channel. Great channel. I've binge watched them several times, and I haven't even gotten through a third of the videos, it seems. Yeah, and they're how many subscribers do they have? So they're close to 1 million subscribers as well. I know they've been doing this for quite a while, so yeah, go give them a look-see and show them some love. One thing that I wanted to say, and I know I said in one of the videos I made last night, but man, I was so freaking tired last night. I just I had to get some rest, and I slept most of this day away anyways, so thank God I feel a lot better. But you know, one thing I was saying, and this holds true for anything here. If my channel is the first one that you've ever seen that does reactions, then I don't know what to say. It would be something along the lines of being a smart ass, but that's not me, because I'm not trying to put down anyone. But, you know, just like everybody else, you know, you see the comments, and it's like, you know, you can't address every single person who has something negative to say. By default, you know, I worked in an industry that was just filled with freaking cutthroats. Somebody just waiting for you to fall to, you know, be in the position that you're in. And I learned very early on, you know, don't let what people do bug you. And it never has, and it never will. Uh, People are going to have their opinions, whether or not you could be the nicest, sweetest person in the world or you could be the biggest, jerk ever. People are always going to have their opinions. And no matter how, positive I want to be when making, any of these YouTube videos, that's not going to change. So for the people who are like, oh, stop riding Mike's coattails. Well, Mike isn't the only one I'm riding his coattails. I like reviewing and reacting to a lot of different channels. I made some of my own original videos, and granted, they may not have had, the amount of views that, some more established YouTubers go. But that's kind of the point, I'm reacting to something funny. You see all the you laugh, you lose challenges, or, what are they doing? They're watching YouTube videos or TikTok videos, which I refuse to get on TikTok. I think I'm past my, I think there's an age limit there, and I think I'm past that. But, yeah, it's just, because there was a lot of people who also said, like, oh, I've never even seen this guy before. He's freaking brilliant. So if it's bringing more people to get to know his channel, there's nothing wrong with that. And the only way I would really have a serious problem is if I was monetizing off of everything he's doing or everything every YouTuber is doing. If I was collecting funds from that, then I would be like, you know what, you guys are right. I am not going to be using this as a means to, monetize. I'll come up with my own stuff, and I sure as shoot can. From a lot of the announcements I have made before, and people want to throw shade at my shine. I just love that phrase. As I've told many of you, I've started my career in acting, and hey, just because I've been in now 2 movies doesn't mean I'm a millionaire. For my first movie, I think it was a half an hour of work, and it was $580. So I mean, it's it's $580 for less than an hour of work. So maybe one day if I am sought after by a big studio, it'll be more, and little by little you work your way up. It's the same thing, everything in life. So just because I announced I was in a commercial and I did my first feature length, doesn't mean I'm wealthy, doesn't mean I'm rich, doesn't mean anything. It just means hey, I want to share this with people because it's a cool experience. Not a lot of people could say that they've been in a feature length movie. So when I share stuff like that, it's just from the heart, because you know what, I'm a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, and it takes a lot to bring me down. There's too much negativity going on in this world where I'm just going to constantly be dwelling on that. Life has changed for so many of us. So why be in a bad mood? Why criticize people? The only time you're going to hear me criticize people are some of these idiots that, show up in some of these, horrendous videos. And there was a really awful one that I'm debating if I should show or not. It just, for my true crime fans, you know what? I think I'm going to show it. You're going to end up hating this piece of fucking shit worse than I did. So, excuse my language there, but yeah. Just prepare yourself for the next one I upload. But until then, I will be right back very soon. It's only 10:15, so hopefully some of my people in the East Coast, in the Midwest, in the West, out to Cali are all, in for the Friday night, staying out of trouble, maybe tossing back a couple brews. Who knows? But I hope you guys enjoy what I got coming up for you next. So I will be back shortly.